How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Goosebumps number 11, The Haunted Mask. This originally came out in September of 1993 and was written by R.L. Stine. I'm really lucky I got a first edition of this book. It does have a little crack in the spine, which isn't great, but it does have the cut-out haunted mask still inside. I always thought that was pretty fun with this book, it's about a mask that gets stuck on your face, and we're gonna give you a copy of the mask right there. That's pretty fun. But this is a Goosebumps classic, and I don't mean just in the original 62 books, it is, but this is out of all of Goosebumps constantly put in the top 10s, and for a lot of people, they'll put this as number 1, and I can totally see why. I still need to read a few more classics before I make my decision on what's probably the best, but I can totally see this being up there. It's got a really creepy concept that was inspired by Stine's real life. His son on Halloween got a Halloween mask stuck on his head and couldn't get it off, and Stine was like, wait a minute, that works, that could be a story, and yeah, it could. I have like a latex Michael Myers mask, and boy, does that thing not want to come off my head. So it's a creepy concept having something stuck on you, but also is something very real world. But, you know, in addition to the concept, it's also psychology, talking about Halloween and scaring each other, and at what point do we cross the line, and having the mask influence you. Yeah, it almost is like a little bit of a possession horror story, and, you know, at what point do you go, that wasn't me, that was too far, I wouldn't do something like that. But also, Goosebumps is a horror story, and this is a Halloween book. Always great to get that fall Halloween atmosphere. The book takes place primarily over the course of one night, Halloween night, running around, getting dark, other trick-or-treaters are out. It's just got a lot of really cool stuff going for it. So yeah, it's really cool. Without further ado, a little bit of the plot. I won't be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to talk about a few things that take place, do a bit of analysis, but I'll try not to go too far. We open up with our lead character, Carly Beth, who is, of course, a fan favorite out of the Goosebumps leads, because she is sweet and innocent, and in turn, people like to scare her. They get good reactions when they scare her, so of course, they're going to do it again and again and again, and yeah, this is going to start to annoy her, and like, I could totally see that happening. If you give reactions like that, people are going to keep coming back for more. It's primarily these two kids, Chuck and Steve, but everyone, even her close friends, will do a little joke every now and then. One of the jokes they do is one of the bullies puts a worm in her sandwich, and yeah, that... oh man, you could get in so much more trouble for that nowadays. But also, there's a later Goosebumps book called Go Eat Worms, so it kind of feels like we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. But Carly Beth is kind of sick of this, and her mother for Halloween makes her a duck costume, which, yeah, talk about one of the lamest costumes you could possibly be, just a silly little yellow duck with a bunch of feathers on you. And Carly Beth is not going to go that far. She goes, this is Halloween, I want to be scary, I need a good mask. And she rushes to the store, it's supposed to be closed, the owner lets her in, she wanders into the back, and there's a row of masks that are way too scary, and she wants to buy one of them. and the owner goes, "Oh no, I can't sell you them. They're too scary." But of course, we as an audience know it's probably more than that. And eventually, though, he does relent. I think in the episode they change it where she steals the mask. But yeah, no, knowing what happens at the end of this book, we can add this shop owner to the growing list of irresponsible adults in a Goosebumps book. But she gets the mask, she puts it on, and she actually takes this plaster head of herself that looks very realistic that her mother made and puts it on a stick and swings the stick around going, "I'm not Carly Beth, this is the real Carly Beth," which is a very disturbing visual to have your own head on a stake, even if it is just plaster. But she's running around, she's scaring people, she's wanting to scare Chuck and Steve most of all because they dished out the most. And she's like at one point trick-or-treating with her best friend, and her best friend's like, "You're acting strange and different." And that is what I really like about the book. It's a Halloween book, but it talks about the sort of odd place Halloween is, you know? With your friends, you like to laugh, you like to joke, you like to scare them, but it's just a joke, right? And Halloween is the time when you're expected to do that, but it kind of blurs the line a little bit. How far do you take a joke, and how far until you're not joking? Another Halloween horror movie that covered this really well was Houses October Built, where people who run haunted houses might be going a little bit too far. And I really do like examining this line, hey, it's just a joke, but, you know, jumping out with my severed head with this really scary mask and a voice that isn't mine? Yeah, no, I could see how that would scare you way too far. But also the character of Carly Beth, establishing her so well early at the beginning as being this sweet and nice and timid girl, does make it more shocking when she goes for the throat in these scary pranks. But then she also starts wondering how much of that is really me. She starts to like doing the scary pranks, and she starts to get too into it, and she starts to get the feeling of losing herself, which is an interesting thing to talk about, you know, when you cross lines in real life, going too far. I mean, that's some deep, dark stuff that props to Stine for talking about it in a kid's book, but of course we know that it literally isn't all her. The mask does have influence, and the way the mask is described is so scary, is, you know, feeling it and wondering if it's latex or skin. It feels warm, like a living thing. And the longer you put it on, the less it starts to feel like, you know, like a latex mouth with latex teeth. It starts to feel like a real mouth with real teeth, and the eyes will move more realistically. The way it takes over, it is scary. And I really do like that as a concept. But running around one solid Halloween night for most of the book, and the idea of losing yourself and sort of the spirit of Halloween and going too far down that road, and of course, as always, leading to a pretty crazy climax. I can see why this is one of the Goosebumps classics, and I see why it constantly rates either at the top or near the top on people's list. Since this is October, I want to cover a bunch of R.L. Stine Halloween stuff, so that means at least getting to the Haunted Mask 2, but I know they made Attack of the Jack-O-Lanterns, there was a few other ones. I'm going to see what all I can get to, but I really do want to read some R.L. Stine Halloween this year. Cool idea. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Goosebumps playlist, where I've talked about other Goosebumps books like Night of the Living Dummy, Say Cheese and Die, Welcome to Dead House. I'm working on covering a lot more of these series These are really fun. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Goosebumps playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.